It'll come back.
Right. All the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. First order of business, we've had a chance to review the minutes of the April or the February 11th meeting, along with the public hearing notes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second to approve the minutes. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. It's carried. Public comment? Comment? You're not public comment?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Seeing any public comment? If there's no objection, we'll close the public comment. Move on to the review of the payment approval reports.
For land information, there's just the Verizon monthly charge for zoning, there's public hearing payment, and then dues for our Northwest District and our WCCA, and then our WCCA conference registrations.
Public hearing.
For advertising.
Oh,
I guess that's pretty simple.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the payment reports. Are there any observations or questions? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Motion is carried. Thank you. The reports.
Yeah, just real briefly, he just wanted me to report that the Department of Immigration annual submission is complete and submitted. And he did receive the signed approved grant, DOA for 2026 for the information grant. Last month, they gave 3 new addresses.
Yeah, anyone have any questions for that? If not, thank you. We'll move on to the register fees. And Mary is here. Hi, Mary.
So in February, we had 229 recordings and we issued 263 vital records. Nothing new in the Veterans Honor Program. A meeting with the Wisconsin Electronic Recording Council. And the only thing new there was HopDocs, was a trusted e-recording vendor and has since started recording documents throughout the state of Wisconsin. It looks like they're aiming towards utility companies to get their documents recorded electronically. So instead of Jump River Electric bringing us 150 paper documents, now they're gonna hopefully start just submitting those electronically. So that's nice. The Register of Deeds Vitals Committee met and we discussed the modernization of the state vital records program. The current program will be, they'll be eliminating that program. It's currently kind of like a DOS-based program. And they're coming out with a web-based program. And that will start it's supposed to be released in early of 2026. So we'll start working with some of that towards the end of this year for testing.
DOS.
It's like ancient old, super old, like it's horrible. All the work
About
with.
the 80s.
Yes, exactly. And you think the state of Wisconsin would,
No.
have updated their searching platform years ago, but no, it's very ancient. So,
Like having a dial-up connection.
yes.
That long ago that the state spent $5 million to create a new system for I think for corrections. And
Sure.
struggled with it for 2 years. Threw the whole thing away and hired somebody else to come in and do it. They had their own programmers and stuff.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so we're excited to see what they're bringing us towards the end of the year. And that's it for me until the other thing on the agenda.
It's like they're keeping you busy with your,
Oh,
Journal.
the thing I did give you guys, so that's just the yearly report that Fiddler puts together for us, where money is goes, and so we pay them 13,000 a year for the program. And then that just shows all the revenues that we've gotten and payments that we've made to them. And
What do they do?
Fiddler,
Yeah,
that's my recording software.
got it.
Could you explain the revenue part of it? Like what's Laredo and?
So, yep, so Laredo is a subscription service that essentially title companies use to research my records online, so they don't have to come to my office. And those are monthly subscriptions that they pay to us, so they have access to the records. Tapestry would be usually like if you wanted a copy of your deed, you could go on to Tapestry on my website and pay for that deed yourself versus coming into my office and getting a copy of that.
Okay.
In Oro, that is online vital record orders. So we don't get a ton of those. We do get some through the paper or through the mail. And but yeah, they can also electronically order vital records through us from out there. So
the realtors use Fiddler too, don't they?
not generally. If sometimes the realtors will use this Tapestry service.
I knew,
So yeah, to use the Tapestry, you have to enter your credit card information every time, and you get charged. It's like $9 per search. So yeah, they don't use that a whole lot.
remember, we used to give them or sell them a package deal of some kind.
That's what Lorraine,
Yep. Yeah, title companies use that. I do have a couple realtors, but generally the title companies and attorneys offices they're on the Laredo plan, so they charge us $90 or we charge them $90 a month for our base plan, and then they have, allotted so many minutes that they can use per month to access the records.
They don't pass that savings on to the closing costs though, do they?
Oh, I'm sure not. No.
Makes their job a lot easier though. That's
Yeah. And then the second page that just shows, so last year I had a total of 4,100 recorded documents. 73% of that was e-recorded or electronically recorded documents. And then just different modules and software enhancements that they offer that we use. Different products that we offer.
So are all of our land records? No, I mean, are
They are,
digitized and it's not, we don't have a box of microfiche somewhere that.
well, there's some microfiche, but yes, that was the big scanning project that I did last year is I got the rest of the big book scanned in. And so we're in the process of back indexing those. I don't know what that says. Yeah, so in the middle, like the top 3 back index queues. So that shows like our biggest things that we're working on to get all of those documents indexed correctly. and available online through searching by name or legal description or, so, yeah, we've got, you know, 1,000 documents that need to be gone through and make sure they're all online correctly.
Lots safer than they were though before, I think.
Correct. Yeah, as long as they're being backed up somewhere. I don't.
Okay, anybody have any other questions for Mary? If not, thank you, Mary. Treasurer is not with us. Did she send us?
just heard from Rebecca that that Missy would be out this afternoon and would not be attending.
Then I guess it's up to you. Take on for,
Well, land use permits this year, we're at 7 currently compared to 34 last year at this time. And sanitary permits, we're at 5 compared to 12 this time last year. Camper permits, we're at 344 on our camper renewals. We were at 299 at this time last year, so that's been the main for the last 2 months. And we're working on getting the final ones. We've got about 20 or so that have not renewed or we haven't heard from them. I don't know what the status of those are. And next week, Colleen and I will be gone at conference from Wednesday through Friday, the 19th to the 21st.
okay, any exciting news going on in enforcement?
All the citations I issued last time, they all defaulted. Nobody fought them, but all the violations still are there, so. What to do now?
What do you do?
But I'll have to issue another set and see if that does anything. Otherwise, then I'll have to get Rich to sue them for compliance, but you have to try citing them first.
Oh, such fun.
Hmm.
Okay, if there are any other questions? If not, thank you, Yvonne. Nick, what do you got for us today?
Biggest thing is, finally finished the first draft of, the rewrite of the land and water plan. We're looking at getting the advisory committee together next Wednesday. We'll go through it and make revisions and corrections, and then the plan will go to DNR and DATCAP for their review, and then eventually, in front of the DATCAP board for a sort of a final defense June. Other than that, we're kind of gearing up for field season. We've got a couple of projects lined up, one from last year, a wetland restoration and a stream crossing. And the tree sale is still ongoing. We do have trees left, apple trees, red pine.
Red pine, white pine, balsam, Norway spruce. Red maples, I think there's some left.
And maybe some black walnuts. So we do have trees left if anybody's in.
It's still online?
Yep. Yep. If you wanna like come down, I mean, we can put an order in at the desk, at our desk too, if you wanted.
Okay.
Right. Okay. CSM review, I guess.
All right. We just have this one in the town of Wilson. It is 3 lots. There's one owner of all this property now. They're combining a few lots into what is going to be lot 3. And then they're kind of creating the lot 1 and lot 2. Lot 1 has a cabin on it and lot 3 has buildings on it, but lot 2 will be a vacant parcel right now. It's zone forestry, so it has a 1 acre minimum lot size, 200 foot of width, so it's meeting all those standards. It does still need to have John's review. He hasn't been able to do that yet, so I would recommend approval upon John's passing it for 236.
It's just in that right, upper right hand corner.
Well, it's 3 lots.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's what.
Lot 3 is 36 acres. Lot 2 is 6.7 and lot 1 is, even sure where that is, 2.68.
Okay. So we would need a motion for provisional approval pending the 36 review.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to give provisional approval pending the 236 review. Any further question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. Righty. Anything you wanna do before the public hearing?
Would you have time to do your resolution?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
5 minutes?
Sure. Move down to the CSM and map.
This is just a reword, a slightly reworded version of the resolution that we had a couple of months ago for review of CSMs. A good point was brought up about reviewing the maps of survey, that we don't necessarily want to charge for that. Not that we don't have the authority to do that, but if we start charging for those maps of survey, it may dissuade people from doing them. And when people do those maps of survey, it's like they resurvey their property, and maps of survey allow us to get more accurate parcel lines because they're resurveyed. If we charge for that, they may not do that because they may not need it as badly as they think. So we just basically removed that language from the resolution and then scaled the review of the CSM based on the number of lots. So it starts at $100 and then it's $25 for additional lots up to 4. So that's really the big change in the language of the resolution.
So as an example, the CSM that we just did, that would be a fee of 150 because there were 3 lots involved, or would it be 100 because it was making 1 lot out of 3? How would that?
Were they, I'm not familiar with.
That's a 3-lot CSM.
Okay,
So they paid zoning $275 for the review,
okay.
and then they would be paying $175 to land information. $100 plus the 25 per lot.
So it's not,
150,
it's not 100,
100 for the first one and then,
not 100 for the first lot and 25 for the second and third. It's $100 fee and then $25 per lot.
$100 for the first lot.
First lot.
and then 25 there.
Up
So
to
it'd be 150.
200.
You'd never get to 200 then. Because you only can have 4 lots on a CSM.
So yeah, 175.
175, you wouldn't have.
Okay.
When we do ours, we charge for the map and then per lot. So 1 lot, is $225 with us.
Oh, okay.
This one was $275 with us.
So the
So
original,
is that wording? Should it be 175? It says 200.
Probably, that should
Yeah,
probably
that
be
should probably
corrected
be-
because it would be
That should
that.
be 175.
Okay.
But then this would be a land information fee, not a zoning fee. So there's like 2 levels.
Got it.
so would this resolution then come from the? Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. And we charge the surveyor for this, not the customer.
Which I assume they.
But I mean,
Right.
and I think
Tariff.
Exactly.
but the survey review fee, that's where the surveyors up there.
The objection was, and the point that he brought up was that issue with the maps of survey.
And zoning does not charge or have anything to do with maps of survey. So we don't have anything to do with them. It's just filed with.
Yeah.
Surveyor's office.
We just,
And information off.
since you're all in the same office, if somebody comes in to yell, everybody will hear them.
Yes.
So do we need to approve this resolution then and submit it or forward it up so that a motion would be required to approve the resolution as presented and then to the board with our recommendation?
I'll make that one.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the MAPS CSM review fee resolution and forward it to the board. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no, and the motion is carried. Guess what? It's time for public hearing. The committee will consider convene a close public hearing to consider a conditional use request to allow non-metallic mine expansion in the town of Marshall for Haas.
Notice of public hearing, State of Wisconsin, County of Russ, to whom it may concern. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Marshall in Russ County, Wisconsin, that a public hearing will be held on March 11th, 2025 at 3:20 PM in the Russ County Government Center Boardroom. Relative to the conditional use request to allow a non-metallic mine expansion on the following described real estate. The southwest quarter of the northeast quarter and the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 25, town 35 or 33 north, range 5 west. Property address is N699 Spur Road. Property owner Haas Sons Incorporated. All persons interested are invited to attend said hearing and be heard. Written comments can be submitted. Signed, David Willingham, Chairman of the Russ County Zoning Committee, dated the 13th day of February, 2025. So in your packet, you have the land use application, you have a plot plan, and then there's the staff recommendations. And John Runstrom is going to present on the reclamation plans. He's been working with Haas, so
Yeah, so it's
he'll be given the,
pretty standard at us. This is one of the old Olenek pits and they're kind of just going gangbusters on expanding all of them, I feel right now. But pretty standard, straightforward. For some reason, when Olenek did this, you can see kind of an overmap. There's like 9 acres of the 2 parcels that weren't included into the active mine. So it's like 35 acres, we're going up to just under 44 now, I think is what it is. It ends up being like 43.2. So basically they're just including this area, which they already own. It just wasn't approved for active acres when Olenek owned it. So they're looking at going in, I believe they'll go down 15 feet into these different cells, approximately 5 years per cell of taking sand and gravel out. They will get into the water table. They have their setbacks from the navigable stream over here. And of course, the Jump River, they're not allowed to go any farther north. This is what's all active again, so they can't go any farther this way. And really not much more this way, except for the parcel here that's egg field. And when it's reclaimed, everything will be a 3-to-1 slope or flatter, and it'll be a 29.4 acre lake. So that might be 40, 50, 60 years from now. So,
Where is,
this piece up here will be like a wildlife area.
where's that
It's
look?
down in the town of Marshall off of Spur Road and Hill Creek Road, was it? Yeah, Hill Creek Road and Spur.
Where's that?
It's kind of on the eastern edge there. Spur Road.
Sheldon.
Yeah, of Sheldon there.
Jump River.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Spur Road runs from Russ County into Taylor County, so they're right on that line, or close to it. So, pretty, I mean, straightforward. Nothing extravagant that they're doing, so.
Is the old pit reclaimed already, or are they?
No, the old pit they're still using, because they use a lot of these, you can see like here and here.
Just bring that up, John.
Yeah, they got their stockpiled in there, and then they got sediment ponds and their wash ponds. I actually just got off the phone with Joel Caluso. He's kind of does all the reclamation plans. And now with anything in a wash plan, I found out for the next 5 years, the DNR is doing a study every quarterly at all their wash plants. They have to have a sediment pond and a wash plant pond. And that, the wash plant has to be, sampled for contamination quarterly throughout the year. So, and for them, they got like 30 mobile plants. And so all of those have to be sampled quarterly.
What kind of contamination? I'm just curious. I mean,
He doesn't even know what they're looking for. He didn't really describe it. You know, it's a wastewater thing. And they said, okay, so what, and he just said, what are you gonna do if you find contaminants? Well, you're gonna have to seal off the pond. With what? Because everything they wash off is gonna be a silt loam kind of clay that falls in and lines the pond. And he goes, so yeah, it can infiltrate.
Sooner or later, they're gonna say they
We're
have.
gonna see through it anyhow, so it's kind of a 5-year study right now, and he doesn't even, not sure what the DNR is reaching for.
Yeah, but if you send a sample, I mean, whatever, actually, if you send a sample and you have to tell them what you're testing for, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, he didn't say that today on the phone.
I just-
Cause this, it just popped up and like I said, they had to start it last year. So they're 1 year into this trial run, so it's kind of interesting with the
We're
wastewater.
looking for fish and
It's the
So
DNR.
stock that new quarry.
We have-
That'll be interesting. Same with like, I mean, a lot of theirs, because they take so much material out in order to reclaim it back to like its original state. I mean, you're millions of dollars. The one north of town, that'll be a 120 acre lake when they're done. That's
Stock it.
12 to 15 feet deep, so. But I mean, it probably won't be in any of our lifetimes, so.
I remember when I was a kid, we had a lake up south of Rockford, Illinois. And it was about 60 feet.
Mhm.
It's an old
Old
gravel,
gravel pit, yeah.
and that was their kind of the summer recreation.
Yeah, it's more bigger than a pond.
Lake. You know, they had lifeguards and all that stuff there.
You see that down,
Neat for that, but
124 coming into Chippewa Falls or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's where,
There's one out there.
there's Haas has got pits and Michael's Pipeline's got it, whatever. There's just all kinds of still working pits and then ponds. There's houses starting to pop up around the pond.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was starting to see that kind of all over the place. and-
Lake property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waterfront property, buy it up.
Yeah.
Your official globe, but hey, they get eaten. So,
there's a lake down along 35 in Iowa,
Yeah.
probably twice the size of this room. And this guy's got a dock on it. and-
Really?
Yeah, and a bunch of campers around it.
I could do that with Parker's Pond.
I've been expecting to go by there sometime and see somebody water ski with with a truck going around
mhm.
outside. Yeah, it's crazy. Somebody got some waterfront property though.
Yeah.
Or that lake should.
Yeah, yeah. Then, over the years, they planted some trees, so you don't see it like. Oh, but, yeah. Okay, so we'll close the hearing, obviously. We just need a motion to grant the,
We read the staff recommendations.
you want to?
These are different than the
Okay,
short-term rental, so most of you guys haven't been subjected to these yet. Approval is based on construction and reclamation plans submitted at time of application. Construction and reclamation plans to be approved by Russ County Land Conservation Department. Other considerations specified in Chapter 20, Article 3, Division 2, pertaining to permitting requirements for metallic mineral mining and prospecting. Hours of operation shall be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Crushing will be permitted for 2 weeks annually, hours 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Dust shall be controlled as necessary. Screening as needed along property or right-of-way boundaries. All portions of the mine shall be at least 50 feet from land owned by others. Financial assurance in the amount calculated with the plan shall be obtained. This amount shall be used in the event that the owner is unable to do reclamation and the county must hire a contractor to complete the reclamation plan. All area waterways and wetlands must be protected from fill, erosion, and runoff. A permanent vegetated buffer of at least 50 feet shall be maintained between mining activities and any wetlands. Topsoil shall be stockpiled on site for use during reclamation unless it is used to reapply to other on-site areas that are being reclaimed. All required state permits and approvals must be obtained, including stormwater permits and Chapter 30 permits if necessary. This permit shall be null and void if substantial progress has not been made on the project within 1 year of the date of approval or if the property transfers owners before completion of the project. And for you, these are like the standard conditions we have on non-metallic mining, like the hours of operation and the dust control. Those are just kind of standard things we always have on there.
Is that normal for the crushing? Yeah, for only
Yeah.
2 weeks. Really?
Yeah.
I know
It's very.
over by
expensive to
me
bring them in, so
for
they don't-
years, when they go to crushing, they'll do it for a week or two, but they go around the clock. I mean, you can hear them all night long banging away.
Yeah, and
Some
they
of those
really don't do
before-
that anymore.
Before we had the permitting process, that those were all approved. and grandfathered in as a rental, so.
And I don't even think the crushing companies would do that anymore.
Oh, I mean, that was what, 2000, I think, is when they started to be required to be permitted. Then a lot of that stuff, and we're finding out now, like, you know, some of these old ones, like, it was like a quick permit. Like, here, just fill a sheet out and then you're good to go. And everything was just grandfathered into it. But now, yeah, they can't, I don't think anyone crushes beyond 7 o'clock now. Everything's conditioned to 7 to 7.
And this was, so they must file a bond with the county then, do they put a?
Yes,
Yeah,
something
and
that John,
Cost is perpetual. Meaning that, I mean, it never ends. So a lot of these guys, it's, you know, depending on which financial institution you go with, it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Costs, it's literally perpetual and the amount just continues to grow. If we, like, they grow and dig and, you know, expand so fast, it would be like constant trying to keep up with how much they actually would have in financial assurance. But like your smaller guys, it's like, yeah, I got 2-3 acres open. I got a huge stockpile. It's gonna take me 4 years to get through. That's all the crushing they're gonna do in that time. So their financial assurance kind of stays.
Interesting.
and more information too, the non-metallic mining is a kind of a separate ordinance. That's the chapter 20. Used to be handled through zoning, and I don't know how many years ago, John.
2018 is when I took.
And then the land conservation office took over the reclamation plans, the financial insurance part. So we still have the zoning permitting, but most of the regulations of how you need to do it and how you need to reclaim it is handled through their office. Which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, it's fun getting financial assurance from some people. But
I don't think have we ever had to use any of the reclamation?
not that I know of. You know, most pits that were there in 2000, I mean, they've either been reclaimed or they're still in operation with financial assurance. I think there's a couple, I got a call today actually about one. He finally saw the slip after a couple years of saying yours is expired. But it's a note from the bank saying that if something were to happen to him, this amount would be released to the county. So.
Okay, then a motion to approve the permit incorporating the staff recommendations as the conditions.
Like that.
Motion and a second. To make it, add any additional conditions on by means of amendment? Not, if there's no further questions, the question is on the motion to approve the permit. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. The motion is carried. Okay, let's see. Fiddler Citadel Program for Act 234 digital privacy shielding.
Yes, I don't know if any of you guys are aware of this Judicial Privacy Shielding Act 235.
Till I read it, no.
It's gonna be all of our headaches. You've heard of it, right? Okay, here, this,
I'm sure the judge that got shot in his front porch.
correct, yes,
How this law got started.
yes.
That judge got shot on his front door when he's opened the door and he got shot because whatever. So now they start shielding their addresses and their identities so they don't get hunted down.
And it's not like they're coming to our programs to find this information. I mean, you can really search it like whatever. But anyways, so they are putting together this act that goes into effect April 1st for all the counties, and there's certain guidelines that we do have to follow. And if a judge comes in and says, I want to be entered into this program. So I did talk with Ashley this morning a little bit about county policy procedures. And of course, her and Rich don't have anything together. So I think we're gonna maybe do a meeting, have Fiddler come up and, you know, go through some of this with us. And try and put some procedures and policies into place for us. Fiddler offers a program called Citadel, which I get for nothing as part of my lifetime cycle or my fee, but they do offer this to the other offices that will be affected as well, like the county clerks, treasurers, rent information. And I mean, any office that displays any public information regarding a judge is affected by this policy. Fiddler has a program that we can plug that judge's name in there, and then it will just work to shield that information in our offices. So it protects the county from any information getting leaked accidentally.
Is there a similar action? I would think the district attorney would be just as liable to be
This
threatened as a,
This law is not going to stop at judges. Currently, the state of Florida has 120 people listed on there. It goes from teachers to lawyers, doctors, county employees, postal employees, like is anybody with a what's the word I'm looking for? Restraining order. Like the list just keeps growing.
Shit.
It's insane.
County board supervisors too.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, yes.
I don't want a phone call.
I have to tell my wife the next time she threatens me.
Breaking the law.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, they're starting with just judges and their immediate families. But yeah, the list is just gonna continue. And, you know, Fiddler is offering a program to, you know, maybe help different offices help, you know, keep track of all of this information.
When does it have to be implemented?
April 1st,
This April 1st,
in 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. Goes into
What's
effect.
Fiddler's cost?
So, again, for my office, it's included. For the other offices, let's see, where do they rate that? It's 5,000 per department plus $1,250 per workstation for licensing and support fees.
$1,250
Yes, per
Per
workstation. So,
We're in the wrong business.
Exploiting that a little bit.
yeah, otherwise, I mean, I don't know, do you have something that you guys are gonna do yet?
We're still looking at Beacon, the online web map software, which I think is our only public facing software. And I think that there's a way within that software where we can go in and toggle certain names and parcels off. So we're investigating that to see if that's an option in Beacon. If that's the case, we may not need the Citadel software on our
Right.
end anyway.
Yeah,
You know, it'd be cheaper to you know, build a castle and have everybody move in.
What, are all the townships with assessment rules and all that, are they gonna have to deal or what are the? I mean, all individual municipalities with their assessment rules and their land records are gonna have to adjust them.
but I would imagine
Yeah, I mean,
if the judge comes to you and say, I don't want my information out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to.
That includes your municipal judge too.
have to think, yeah, it does. Yeah. Which is a retired county judge now, circuit court judge.
There's no indications that the state has any plans of assisting counties with,
Funding.
yeah.
Absolutely not. And I think they've actually said that you're on your own for funding this.
Other unfunded mandate. Perfect.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's just, it's a horrible situation to look at from a cost perspective, but it's not hard to understand why it's also
Oh, no, I
something that's needed.
If I was in that profession, I wouldn't want somebody to know where I lived. In fact, although everybody knows where everybody lives anyway, small town.
Yeah. I mean, small counties like ours, I don't think that, they're gonna get much protection, but for like Dane County or Milwaukee County or,
Yeah.
bigger cities, potentially it could. I don't know.
So where was this judge?
I don't know, when I brought this up, when I was reading up on it last night or the night before or whatever, and Lori obviously keeps up.
Yeah, it was
She said that's
C or something.
how I got started with that one judge guy.
It was out east somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually a judge's son that was shot by an attorney who pretended to be a UPS driver. And I believe it was in New Jersey.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was out east.
It was in New Jersey is where it
Couple
started.
years ago.
Everybody trusts a UPS driver, right?
Right.
It's always bringing something good.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Free shipping.
Oh, mercy.
So I don't know if you guys are interested or like, should I have Fiddler come and do a presentation at all? Or I don't know.
Have you checked with other counties? How are they handling this, surrounding? counties?
This is all the same because we're doing, I mean, the surrounding counties are all with Fiddler also.
Yep.
I do know Barron County, Margot, she actually has a judge enrolled in the program already. And once you enroll, the only way to get out is death.
Ironic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Or it's 10 years or death, whichever comes first. And he's regretting already signing up because he went in, had all this information shielded, and then decided he wanted to redo the bathroom at his cabin. Well, then the title company couldn't find any records. So then he had to sign another piece of paper saying, yeah, this title company, this certain person at the title company can review my records from this day to this day. So then, because there's no way to just release them right now, that title person had to physically come to the Register of Deeds office to be able to search those records. And he's like, this is a joke. So I don't know.
They have to give you a letter that says they want to opt in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and it is a form.
It's not automatic.
Right, they do, and it's a specific form from, I think, I don't know, Secretary of State or something like that. Like, it's a very specific form. And they have to specify what information they want shielded and protected and.
I would say right now zoning, we would not be interested. If we had anything, it would be something that we would have to probably block through the Beacon site. So that would maybe be something through the treasurer's office if they needed to do it. But I just don't see where there'd be that kind of demand on our office to justify that kind of cost.
All the people that threaten Colleen anyway,
If
right?
we have one land use permit or something, I mean,
come right at
we can hide that.
Well, yeah.
We just unscan the, I don't know what we would do. We would do it. We wouldn't spend $6,000 to have somebody else do it. Can't imagine we'd have much with it.
They're willing to come in and at least talk about the program and
Mhm.
how interested to hear them talk about how it's going to interact with all these different systems.
Yeah, and I know that they've been working with like different companies. They mentioned like T-Tech and GIS and a couple others that those companies are trying to do integration to talk with Citadel. So,
Well, I would hate to be in a position to say, oh, we don't need this. And then have some incident happen. Because we didn't look into it far enough to find out whether it really is something we
I mean,
should
if
do.
they're willing to come in and give a presentation, I think it's
Yep.
worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Doesn't commit us to anything, but at least we can get more information.
right. Yep.
Well, we can make an informed decision, not.
How much
assume-
would that be? I mean, how, that's like $1,000 though total, when you start adding it up, right? I mean, how many
For
departments?
each workstation?
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's a lot of
Well,
zeros.
and so like, not every person would have, like, it wouldn't have to be installed on every workstation. So it would be like Yvonne, because she's department head, like, she would be the only one that would have access to the privacy information. And then if, you know, Colleen or Rachel come in and say, hey, what about Joe Schmo? I can't give you that information. He's on the shielded list, you know? So it'd only be, you know what I'm saying? Like, not every person needs to have the software installed on their workstation.
But it would also be $5,000 for her department plus the workstation. I mean, so
That's gonna be.
7,250.
250
Yeah,
per land information, land conservation, zoning. You have three right there.
great.
I don't.
But-
I don't know what land conservation would have to
You're-
shield.
Let's say conservation.
My office is included.
Okay, you,
This is covered, but I think the treasurer's office is a much bigger issue because of the tax records being.
Yep.
yeah, it could be a big chunk for the county, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
It's mandatory? I mean, you
It's mandatory if they,
Mandatory.
might request it. So you have to have the software in place
And you
in
have,
case they request it.
and they have 10, once we receive those requests, we have 10 days to shield whatever information they tell us to shield.
So you gotta install it and then just wait.
Well, you don't
well, we
necessarily.
don't have to do it with Fiddler. We just have to have a mechanism to do,
Correct, correct.
to make those records private.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
But they're telling us that they already have the software to do it.
correct.
So if nobody else does, then we're,
Right.
And I don't know if Missy has anything in place or, you know, I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it
Oh,
to see what she's gonna be
How
doing.
do you or how does Fiddler shield those documents?
So those documents will essentially be labeled as a restricted document. So you can't see the information. Search, like if you have one of my programs, you can search it and you can see there's a document there, but you can't get access to it.
so who would have access then?
I'm the only one that would have access to it. I'm not even giving Crystal access in my office.
Yeah.
so then all they have to do is kidnap you.
Right. But she's not even gonna have access to the system, like she can't even get into it. So if they kidnap me, well, everybody's screwed. And then I would, you know, essentially, if they came in and said, okay, I want Chris from the abstract office across the street to have access to my documents, then I put her name into the Citadel program, give her a 10-digit code, and then she has access to those restricted documents.
You, probably just for a specific period of time, right?
Correct. Yep.
Well, it sounds like not a bad system, but boy, seems like a
A lot of money.
pretty hefty price for it.
Price tag.
Yep, that's where the software people get rich and you stay poor. I don't know.
So I think Nick is right. I think we need to go further and find out more from them.
Have you had any requests or are you aware of any in Russ County coming down the?
I have not had any, and I'm not aware of anybody planning to get on the program, and I really hope that they don't want to. 'Cause, like I said, I don't think that what we're doing is going to protect them. But if they think it's going to, and it gives them peace of mind, you know? We don't make the laws, we just gotta follow them.
Right. Back to the days when all you had to do was have an unlisted phone number.
Well, you know, and we've done this record modernization to get everything online, and now that everything's online, they're like, nope, take my stuff off, you know? So it's like we're going backwards.
But you can understand why.
Hmm.
I mean, people get threatened all the time,
Yeah,
even school board members.
yeah, sometimes, yeah,
Okay, I'll
Especially
work
the
with
president.
Fiddler and
Especially the president.
especially.
I'll work with Fiddler and try and get a date for stuff for them.
Hopefully at our next board committee meeting, so we don't have to have a special.
Yeah, I can see what works for them.
And you might want to think about inviting others as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. It's good enough for that. So we're back to. Let's see. Oh. Shoreline ordinance.
With that.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I know. Or that's just a form.
I think we'll have to change that on there and then have somebody sign it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a change and then I'll,
The only other item is the shoreline ordinance review. And the ones I sent to you this morning are the shoreline wetland district. So the DNR model was one and the Russ County current code was the other. Colleen and I sat and read it all word for word. And what I came up with is the DNR model and our current code, which of course was based off a DNR model when it was adopted, are very similar. There's a couple of areas where the DNR has added more wording or some more clarification to there, so it's a little bit more updated language or including like a link to their surface data water viewer that wasn't in our old code. But the only areas that I found where there was even that kind of a change was in the locating the shoreline wetland boundaries. That was under 3.3, number 1. It's a little wordier, it's a little more exact than ours, but it doesn't say anything different. And letter C was the same, where that was something we don't have, and that's in the construction or maintenance of railroad lines. So we had, here. We had A and B under under number 4 on page 2, but we didn't have letter C, which is the construction and maintenance of railroad lines. I don't know that we'd have much of that other than what they already do, but that was the only areas that there was really any difference. So that's kind of how we're gonna present these, is kind of bring them in. And if there's something different, we'll explain that, but this was basically the same thing, just saying it a different way. And we might as well adopt theirs, because that way the next time somebody has to do this, they're that much closer to the last model ordinance, and it's not changing any of the designations or permitted uses other than it talks about the railroad use, which we didn't talk about. Otherwise, it was kind of thought it'd be a little bit more interesting than it was, but it really wasn't much to it. So we'll kind of take a certain section or two, depending on how much there is each month and go through it. So we're through section 3.6 for CFR now.
Much farther.
It's hard to tell because a lot of the model has a bunch of notes in it that won't be in the code, but it's kind of giving some explanation to why they're wording it that way. So I don't even remember how many there were total. I could bring the whole thing with me. But it's gonna be, most of it's gonna be 90% the same as what we have. Just updating.
Language instead of ours.
Yeah. And the DNR paid 2 people for a year to come up with this, so.
Perfect.
Might as well let them do the work and adopt what they want us to have it say anyway.
So it doesn't have fiddler.
Yeah.
Won't. But it's kind of the same thing where ours, once we get this done, like next project, then it has to go back to the DNR for them to look at it and make sure that we didn't do anything that they don't like. And then it would go to public hearing after we get DNR concurrence on it, so. It's well into the future.
All righty. Anything further? I think we're done. Next meeting is April the 8th.
I will not be here.
Hmm?
I won't be here on that week. That's okay, but yeah, I'm
Going
going.
somewhere fun?
I hope so, yeah.
Why is one?
That's what a guy says. That's what a guy says when his wife hasn't told him where they're going.
I know where we're going.
Oh. Keep it protected.
And up on Florida.
Keep those back in.
Florida's nice.
In April?
Yeah, we were gonna go in February, but yeah, whatever. With my dad's health, we canceled it and then
Yeah.
we had to rebook. So now it's
Where in February? Where in Florida?
Fort Carolina. Fort Myers. It's actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm,
Suburb of Fort.
There's no objection. We are adjourned.